can be pretty when they play, and as you said, Mikuli up top is a real little titan of a footballer. Are they going to be able to undo Juve? Well, that's a big, big task.
Andrea Di Marco, one of the best that Serie A has to offer. The man from Chiavari starts us out, and we are underway. Familiar pink and black of Palermo, flying from left to right, and that ball sails a bit too long. Juventus in their familiar black and white stripes. They'll be defending the goal towards the right. Uscani in net. Both teams playing similar 3-5-2s. Munoz, Donati, and Van Bergen. Edgar Barreto in support of Morganella and Kurtic. Pisano and Garcia flanked. And Ilicic and Mikuli up front.
Good little run into the box there by Alessandro Matri. A good-looking lad, the ex-Cagliari man, knows where the back of the net is. Little Sebastian Giovinco, a sad exclusion for Juve. The old lady missing a little inspirational footballer. That's a good corner.
Near post and almost finds Matri.
Typical
almost
of
finds the
Pirlo.
corner.
Takes this one and sends this one as rehearsed to the front post, and Matri looking for the clever flick to steer into that very tight needle. They were so unlucky against Inter. They were.
Ball launched, goes all the way through the six this time.
Another delightful set piece by Juve. This time they go to the same area, but they go upstairs, and Matri just can't get his bushy eyebrows to this wonderful perler from Pirlo. Wonderful attack.
Look at Chiellini at that near post. Right, this is a tall, forceful Juventus with Chiellini and Matri both out there with Vucinic. Find out how a more diminutive Palermo can handle them today. In for Pirlo.
The prized possession of Juve. They're looking to make the world their oyster. Certainly Europe, that's for sure. And I truly believe they're good enough to go all the way to the final. At least if, and it's a big if, they can keep Andrea right. Because you talk about linchpins and you talk about crucial players. There is no team as dependent on the one man other than perhaps Barcelona and their inspirational number 10 as Juve is to Andrea. 33-year-old now and looking good in his beard.
Right. Many would say I'd be one of them, as the ball intended for Matri cut off in the back by Munoz. Pirlo, quite respected in the battle for the Ballon d'Or with what he did with Juve and the Azzurri. Ball to the inside. Matri lays it back. Pirlo into stride.
Pirlo handing that Ballon d'Or inclusion with typical dignity, saying he's just happy that he made the list alongside Xavi, Iniesta, Messi and Cristiano. He knows he's got the best of the best. He doesn't need the Ballon d'Or. He'd probably give it to Pirlo right out of the bag if he had to pick. No question about it.
Gasparini would probably pick Mikuli, and so would almost everyone else in Sicily. And if you ever had the chance to watch Mikuli play, you realize it's only because he came at the wrong time with the likes of Del Piero and Totti and company that he hasn't seen more time with the Azzurri.
Well, he's always been a top favourite around Italy, of course, and he's the top man, top goal scorer, 5 strikes to his name.
71 in his career. Promised 72 today.
But it's too dependent on him, Phil. That's a third of their goals down to Mighty Mouse.
Lichtsteiner back in the starting lineup today. They've missed him. Of course, it was talk about hard luck losses. Milan Isla, who was whistled for a handball when it hit him in the ribs, led to the penalty that cost Juve their
this man on the ball, the number 9, wonderful footballer. One of my favourites in all of Juve's lineup.
Vidal,
Vucinic,
Pirlo, Morganella.
People knock him and tell him that he's this, that or the other, and they'll berate him. I've heard a lot of Juve fans screw the face up when they talk about Vucinic.
Always looking for something more.
Can't believe that anybody would have a criticism of him. He's an absolutely brilliant player, the Montenegro international, ex-Roma man, of course, and he's a perfect foil for him to find. He has an X factor about him. He's got a new partner here today, Matri, but Vucinic is a breathtaking footballer.
5 in the area.
No, you're right, Phil. People are always asking for more because the promise of magic is always there in Vucinic, and people always want that magic consistently delivered. It's easier said than done.
Although, Ray, I think today, with Conte back on the sidelines, he's given him a new toy to play with, as you mentioned with Matri, and we saw it with Roma. I think we've seen it with Juve to this point. He always plays better with a foil to play off of. There's Marchisio, somewhat the undersung member of the midfield.
He's a totally different box of toys than Vucinic's partner, Giovinco. That's for sure. A totally different tandem. Ooh.
Vidal tries to get tricky with it, almost pays the price. Chiellini goes down. The chest from the Chilean goes back, and it's Chiellini who's forced to try and scramble that one clear. Grabbing the back of his calf, his Achilles.
Going down here, and you'll always get, and you actually get stood on accidentally, I believe, Phil.
Barreto.
Yeah. Morganella as well coming in. And there's a whole Edward Scissorhands type of tackle for Chiellini to go into. And you know what? He don't care. Wonderful player. May not be the prettiest picture. Listen who's talking. But a wonderful, wonderful footballer. Yeah, since 05, the ex-Fiorentina man.
Well, he's been suffering.
Came cheap as well. €3.5 million. What a bargain.
Could have added a 0. It still might have been a bargain.
One of the players as well that stayed at Juve after Calciopoli scandal. Calciopoli really took a lot of wonderful players away from Juve, of course, but Chiellini designed to stay on, along with Del Piero and several others out there in the zebra stripes.
Of course, now a new gambling controversy that affected Juve again, but this time from Antonio Conte in his prior days, although I guess to give him credit as the ball finds Morganella. Continues
football again, nice wide play, time to settle, good turn here.
Morganella through
beautiful
the legs.
Football.
For Barreto, but stripped away. Conte never accused of doing anything gambling-wise himself, but accused of knowing that something was going on and not informing anyone. 10-month suspension that was cut to 4. And from a Juve perspective, I don't think they liked the suspension, but the fact that they're top of the table without their boss after 4 months shows the depth of the team that he built. Character as well.
An earlier approach there by Palermo, just signifying, though, it ain't going to be easy. That's a great touch.
Inside for Matri. A pull down, play off, touch through, and diving on top of it, Uscani. The back pass. It's going to be an indirect kick. They consider that a pass as he scrambles to fall on top of it. It'll be a restart from the 6. Oh, my. Donati talking to the extra official. They might have an argument because Uscani was off of his line and the ball just poked free.
This is a very difficult decision for the officials to make. Still unsure, clearly, of what's being given.
It looks like he's overruled himself or allowed himself to be overruled. So a drop ball to restart. The extra official, quote-unquote, correcting the referee here. No argument from Juve. That was close.
I thought it was a ridiculous set of circumstances as you were trying to describe it there, Phil. I couldn't understand what was wrong. I didn't see anything wrong in live action. We haven't seen the replay either, people, but I think it would have been very fortunate for Juve had they been awarded that. It didn't look as if it was an intentional pass at all. It looked as if it just came away, and certainly the battling Matri deserves credit for keeping that hope alive inside the box, but total chaos inside the 6-yard box, and certainly Ushkani was brave, the goalkeeper in between the sticks, but there's a set of farcical situations, and both the officials inside the box looking and shrugging their shoulders. Play on.
Ray, think about it again. We talked about the entirety of last year, the Platini plan, where those extra officials just seemed to be two guys that were out for a busman's holiday. Not this year. We've seen penalties, and here we've seen one likely correct what might have been an injustice. Take another look. Couldn't tell if it was Donati or Van Bergen.
Well, there's Matri battling away. It's a live ball. It's snap, crackle, pop, and it just comes out.
Donati trying to just get it away from Matri.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong here. All the boys battling away. It gets a touch back to the goalkeeper, but that cannot be construed as a back pass.
And I think the referee might not have seen him come off his line. Good build-up out wide for Pisano. Drives across the 6, kicks off of Mickley, deflected away, and there's Buffon.
The magical hit this over distance by Kurtic. He steps through this with a real big barrel of knuckles and hits this, and it's spanked beautifully by that man. And then Buffon, it's in perfect position and fists it away beautifully.
Kurtic and Santi Garcia having some good success down that left flank. Juve's been under pressure here from Palermo. Not looking like a 16th place team.
Been quality build-up a couple of times from the man in pink, but Kurtic absolutely unloads on this one when it's a get back. Mikkeli starts it out wide. It's fizzed in. It takes a deflection of Chiellini, and then bang! But there's your man, right where he should be. The Italian icon, legend, Buffon, right where he needs to be, and not patting it, but punching it.
Buffon in goal. You
see so many times a goalkeeper will have his fists out like that and make a real hash of it, especially when a ball's being whistled at you like that. Over that distance, the ball can take a deviation, but Buffon gets it spot on.
Here comes Palermo again. Launched into the middle, trying to spin it. Mickley not happy with the effort. Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini, the back three. Lichtsteiner and Asamoah on the flanks. Pirlo, Vidal, and Marchisio, the triangle in the midfield, with Matri and Vucinic up front. And as you mentioned, a point counterpoint rather than, I guess, the exclamation mark of Giovinco. Now Chiellini again launching himself up front. Played back by Garcia to Ushkani.
Palermo warnings out though. This team, games that they've won this season have all been in front of their fanatical fans.
Chance for Chiellini, almost playing as an attacking midfielder. He's above Pirlo here. Matri tackled.
Nothing there.
But the ball from Donati. Looking. Ilicic.
Ball. Needs help.
Mickley taking Bonucci wide.
He's got it coming. Overlaps on.
Mickley plays it square. Met perfectly. Good defense. Barzagli to deny.
Ilicic again. That comes across and tries to meet Mikkeli's pass at the station, but just a half a step too much, and it's great defending, as you point out, Phil Shane.
Bonucci.
Wonderful sliding in tackle there to deny Ilicic. Else that one would have been the go-ahead goal. He knows it. He was exposed down that side by a wonderful ball that found Mighty Mouse. And here's that other situation at the other end. But there, that's a great tackle. Wonderful. Just to deny in time. Barzagli showing all of his wealth of experience to deny. That was another very impressive quick attack. But for me, the key pass was turning the Juve defence around at narrow back three. There's going to be spaces in that corner, and Mikkeli is one of those players that will always make those hurtful runs into the corners. But they've got to be providing him with the passes, and they just did. And again, warning signs for the Zebras.
When you play with three in the back, you need good movement side to side to cover. Bonucci going with Mickley.
It hasn't been three at the back this game, Phil. It's been five. They've been dropping back. Asamoah, especially on this side, recognising the threat.
Of course, they're allowing Chiellini to push forward. Here he's back. Spanks it wide for Pirlo. Now laid back Vucinic. Good build-up Juve. Marchisio. Again, it is kind of funny. You're right. They've been dropping Lichtsteiner and Asamoah and pushing Chiellini up.
That's a wonderful thing about that system. Them two men are such unsung heroes. We used to call it the night shift because they would absolutely be working their socks off. And if you can get those two players on that tandem, and they certainly have them in Lichtsteiner and Asamoah, it can be devastating. But it's an enormous workload on those two men.
Out wide, here is the Swiss Lichtsteiner. Clockwork, the cross, and a diving header by Donati. Still in play. Another chance. Played back by the Argentine Garcia. Another one of those from the breadbasket of the Albiceleste Rosario. And interesting, it is Juve in that more defensive mode, and there you get a good look at how deep they are, the respect they show. Driven in, Mikuli trying to caress it with the outside of the boot. We talked about the returns. Good step up, Donati. The returns on the Juve side. Well, Ilicic and Kurdic also available in support of Mikuli today. Bonucci getting some help. There are Twitter handles. Feel free to contribute. Love to hear from you. Respond when we can. The Paraguayan Barreto. Deft for Mikuli. It's in the back of the net. But the flag had come up.
The fabulous run again. He turns that back line around, as I was indicating earlier, and he gets supplied with a silver bullet. It's an absolutely magisterial pass, and he's just offside. The lean from Mikuli, but look at that finish. That would have been one of the goals of his career, and he scored some mighty good goals. But he was off by a half a step.
And he had Chiellini beaten. Just missed timing. Hard to fault Barreto on the pass. Picture perfect. Just needed to be a split second earlier.
It's absolutely perfect pass, Phil. You're absolutely right, sir. Edgar Barreto picking him out with an absolutely Stradivarius type of pass. Wonderful into stride, but what about the finish?
Nice turn. Vucinic sees the gap.
Ball.
Rolls it wide of Garcia. Crossed in. Matri lets it go through his legs, but the touch too close to the Albanian.
The ball pops up from Matri. It's a nice ball into him, but it takes a big hop right in front of him, and he cannot control it. Comes off of his shin and bounces away as the rain continues to come down, and that suits the Islanders, making this even more of an alley fight. Unpredictable. Mother Nature starting to interfere. And they will like that. This dead pitch accident's gonna happen.
Again, the
underdogs love these sorts of conditions, man. Feel as if everything's on their side, and the glamour boys coming into town, starting to see the makeup run a little bit.
Wind over 30 miles an hour. The weather constantly changing. Now back into the heavens, spitting down.
Perfect football weather, man. Perfect football weather. Juve will adjust. But it's certainly bogging their free-flowing style down.
28-time champions against a side that has never won at the top flight. Closest, in fact, most recently, finishing runner-up in the Cup.
Conte's big. Oh, that's a lovely touch.
Matri almost reads the bounce. Munoz cutting across. Another Argentine ex of Boca Juniors. Approaching the 20th minute, and there is the myth. Offside again. This one, not much of an argument.
You don't mind being called for those ones either, even though that wonderful goal was cancelled out. Live on that line of the offside trap, and it just takes one. You kind of go away from that well against this Juve defence. The midfield for Juve still yet to really assert itself. Pirlo has been denied a lot of the space and time on the ball. Look out.
On the turn, chipped. Vucinic looking for Matri, whose footing gave way.
Again, there's that wonderful invention. It doesn't come to anything from Vucinic, but again, wonderful type of dimension to his game to try to find the unusual pass. He'll do it even in weather like this.
Ball played all the way back for Buffon.
Barreto it is that's shepherding around Pirlo as best he can. Good luck.
Knotted down, but Lichtsteiner couldn't get there. Now run over from behind by Marquisio, going through the back of Kurtic. The young Slovenian drawing the foul.
Well, the alternative for Conte, if he sees his team still at this scoreless tie as the game goes on, he can always go upstairs, because that's where he's had a lot of his success this season.
Nearing the midway point of this opening half. Two of the oldest sides in Italy, not quite to Genoa realm, but both 2 centuries on the calendar ago. 1900 and 1897 for Juve.
Good look at Conte there. Has a little bit more assurance of his job than the Palermo coach, of course. Gasparini looking on. Feels as if he's doing a good job, and it seems to be that he is, but as everyone knows, in Palermo, they don't have a door on the coach's office. It's a revolving door.
Lifted up by Barzagli with spin, but kicks into the hands of Uscani. You think about it, Ray, I mean, that thing, rent, don't buy, I think that's the sign above the coach's office.
It's not right.
Skips across from Morganella.
Always a tight game, this, on the island. Palermo won 6 times and 8 draws. Juve 10 victories. Well, this game playing out in the first 22 minutes exactly like that. Very tight game. And if anything, the men in pink looking a little bit more dangerous and adapting to the conditions a bit better. They seem to have the attitude very well adjusted, and they are suffering the threats of Vucinic and Pirlo pretty well. The wide players of Juve being kept pretty quiet and in defence, which is a key for Palermo, but they've got to take advantage of the opportunities, Phil, because you know this man will eventually.
Well, they've kept Juve pinned a lot. Good hopeful ball off of his line.
More than a hopeful ball. That's a brilliant ball. Brilliant ball from Pirlo. And it's the goalkeeper, Uscani, who's got to come to the defence because his back line was picked apart by Pirlo's precision. Wonderful ball. It was either or for Vucinic or Matri. Take your pick. He puts it into a space where both players could attack it, but he hadn't considered the goalkeeper, Samir Uscani, coming to the rescue. Wonderful play earlier by Pirlo.
Another chance lifted long, trying to find the gap on the near side for Asamoah. Played out by Munoz, and
Munoz not taking any risks at all.
Seen Asamoah with some beautiful build-up himself and some pretty good finishes. See if Pirlo can find him. Launching it to the back, punched away. Uscani doesn't look like he got all of it. Shepherded across. They'll try it again from the far flank. And Pirlo making the long run. Victory over Catania. Narrow defeat against Inter for Palermo. Udinese and Fiorentina looming for Juve. The tight loss to Milan. The win in the derby against Torino. Atalanta and Cagliari coming up. Smashed the other direction. Vidal catches it on the wrong side of the boot. Mikli wanting a break. Instead, a collision head-to-head. Play
Gonna
on.
have to stop this. The referee, player down, and there's severe damage done. It's an accidental clash of heads. Lichtsteiner's the one who doesn't look as if he's bleeding, but either way, it's a bad clash, and both players bravely going for a ball. Again, nothing intentional there whatsoever.
Ilicic might have just busted his nose.
Josip coming in and really catching Lichtsteiner, who was coming through, but he looks as if he's fine. He gets it on the back of his head, and as you said, Phil, Ilicic, much the worse for damage. Let's hope it's not a broken nose. It's a nasty gash on it.
Right on the bridge.
Yeah, that's the way I broke mine, actually, when I was a player, and left me with a Roman nose, Roman all over my face. But let's hope he's all right. It's a weird feeling. I broke mine in a match in San Jose against the Earthquakes, and I remember George Best taking me to the mirror and making me look in the mirror. I looked like a Picasso painting. But it looks as if this lad's going to be all right. But you never know until later on, man. It's an awful injury to have.
Well, he's been quite wanted. It's been a bit of a slow start with Palermo, but Liverpool, one of the teams that's been sniffing around, but the Slovenian saying he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, a wonderful player. Really crafty, skillful footballer, Ilicic.
Trying to stop the bleeding first, then also
he's one of those players, again, it's very much like the man up top for Juve, Vucinic. Just a little inconsistent to be considered that world-class type. The talent and the ability is there, and both of those players are mentioned in spades, but again, the consistency is the thing with truly world-class players. They haven't been able to find that. Again, the promise of magic, elusive.
Launched long for Matri, but
a good
flag
run
coming up again.
Good run. He says, no, senor, let's take a look. Lovely ball.
Almost.
Oh, no, he's onside, man. He's onside. That's a beautiful ball. That's a bad decision. He is right. Matri is correct.
Linesman saw a lean.
Linesman got it wrong.
From Bergen out wide. Little bump from behind. Advantage played, says DeMarco. Wide and crossed in by Kurtic. Cleared away. Good run by Morganella.
An even better ball, as you point out, Phil, by Kurtic. Lovely ball on the run. This is a deep, hurtful, questioning ball into the heart of Juve's defence, and Chiellini dealing with it really well, and he had to get that right. It slips underneath his cleats, and that man there is lurking. You see, like a big vulture, a little vulture, that's for sure.
This will sweep in. He loves to go for goal from here. Near post, Matri was back and trying to start a break for Asamoah.
It's well controlled.
The Ghanaian. A little bump from behind by Pisano.
Silly challenge. Pisano's doing well here, holding off of him, putting him under pressure, and then he's rash with that challenge right there.
Hangs in the air. Garcia in the midfield nominally.
Tackle.
Swept off the boot on the ensuing pass. Bonucci over, finding Pirlo. With spin, will hold for Vucinic. Cleared by Munoz, but straight to Lichtsteiner. Tries to sneak it in ground level.
Poor ball.
Under pressure, played back by Kurtic sloppily. It gives up a
ball,
corner.
But it's even poorer defending. An easy ball to defend this, and it's just slapped away and leads to danger now for Palermo.
Sweeping away from the Albanian.
Oh,
Knotted down by Bonucci. Looked like a pass.
it's a great ball in. Bonucci's poor with this header. Beautiful ball to find him. He's got space. He has time. But his header is absolutely nowhere. Just heads it down. And falls
like
back to Marchisio, and he tries to go for the bender. Right here, he settles it. That's a half-decent attempt by Marchisio, but the header not quite up to it either.
Down goes Vidal, winning the battle, though. This has not been an easy place to play. And Juve finding out firsthand. Did lose one at home, but then went unbeaten. 12 points in the next 6 matches at La Favorita. Kept in, says the assistant. Kortic dancing the tightrope. Surrenders possession to Barzagli. Good pickup from Wolfsburg. Sliding right in alongside Bonucci on the back. Look how deep Palermo drops as soon as they surrender possession. Asamoah poked free. Choppy pitch, giving a chance for Palermo here. Mikuli to the inside. The deft touch. Sends it wide. Santi Garcia the cross. Slight deflection. Barzagli.
Well played by Vidal.
And Pirlo. Now for Lichtsteiner. Here comes Juve. Less than a quarter hour to go in this opening half. Vidal eating up what space there is.
Magic.
Laid back Matri.
Brilliant.
Vucinic. Matri almost. And again, but Vucinic had stopped
wonderful
his
play
run.
from Vidal. Way back. It's Vidal that starts it all going. This replay from when Noah had an arc, but the earlier exchanges from Juve was wonderful. Vucinic and Matri linking up really nicely in tight confined space. It's a good ball in. He's on, he's off.
Played square and tucked home.
Well, let's see if he get this one right, because that linesman on that far side has had some poor calls. Take a look. This one he gets correct.
By a stride.
Well, he just needs an inch and he'd get it right, Phil. But on that situation, the assistant certainly gets his call spot on. Best little bit of passage this for his team in a while. That earlier build-up that we haven't had the chance to see, created by Arturo Vidal. Picking the ball up very, very deep in his home half and eating up the space and then linking up with Pirlo, but then bringing in the forwards, Matri and Vucinic, who combined with some lovely football to cut through the Palermo defence with intricacy, but just couldn't find the trigger because of good defending in the end by Donati.
And for Juve, admittedly, it's not a 10-month suspension, but even 4 months out, and Conte has to still feel job well done. 11 wins, 2 draws through 15 matches, and advancement to the next round of the Champions League.
Great layoff.
Almost, but cut off at the pass, Donati.
Now, the question is who they're going to face in the next round, because they could be up against some really big names, Real Madrid being one of them. And Glasgow Celtic may be the underdog of underdogs, but anybody that saw the way Glasgow challenged Barcelona, both home and away, knows that even if it's Celtic, Juve will have a tough game. I think they'd prefer Celtic than Real Madrid.
The way they, if you listen to Andrea Agnelli, the president of Juve, he actually thought that their group stage was tougher than the next stage will be, basically saying anyone but Real will be a break.
Yeah, you say, Phil, you listen to presidents and you read what they say, whereas I don't give almighty flying you know what about what presidents say. It's the coaches and the players. Forget the presidents. How do they know?
Could slip to second today if they can't get a result. Pirlo trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Line at the top of the 18.
Ball.
To Vidal.
Popped away. Rehearsal goes down the wazoo there.
Wide by Barzagli. Lichtsteiner. Double teamed. Marchisio. Striding in. Vidal wants it
Nicely.
back on the turn.
Magic.
Marchisio. It's Vucinic wide. Lichtsteiner rattling it off of Van Bergen. One Swiss denies the other.
Vucinic, brilliant on hold-up, but he hesitates for a split second too long to lay it off to Lichtsteiner, and Lichtsteiner is forced wide. There's a handball claim, it's never going to be given, but then Lichtsteiner having words with Vucinic, just play me in now, one step earlier and I'm in the hen house.
Here they come again.
Good ball again, Vucinic.
Vidal, Donato laid over, looking Matri settles, driven, Marchisio, and it's pinged off the post by Vucinic.
He cannot reach it, he cannot stretch his groin any further than he can, but he was the orchestrator and the architect of that great opportunity. Vucinic just cannot extend his size 9s to a size 9.5. Also, it would have been your go-ahead goal. And it was beautifully engineered. Vucinic it is, it sends it out wide to Vidal, and that's lovely settlement by Matri. The hit, he's onside still, and then it pops to him and he cannot direct it in. Wonderful from Matri, lays it off to Marchisio, spanks it. Good save by Ushkani. But look at this, that's how close Juve were. Unlucky. Never saw his involvement earlier. It was he that started that wonderful flowing play, that delicate pass. Again, Vucinic pulling out a rabbit from his hat, but no luck at the end of it.
Start of this round, Palermo could have found themselves as high as 12th or as low as the basement. Pirlo pinged Vidal. Might want to rethink that pass. No, Chiellini. Wide for Asamoah. Interior player, but adapting well. Plays it square.
A tremendous play from Asamoah there, taking on the defenders nicely, strongly, bravely, and whisking it. Beautiful driving, and then wonderful cutback. Unlucky.
Overlap and a chance for Ilicic. Bodied down. Play on, says the ref. Bonucci got the ball.
Didn't get the ball, but the referee sees no infraction on the reaching challenge and says that the player driving past Bonucci actually challenged into his leg.
Good challenge, Donati. Matri, good job holding up. Pirlo saying, remember me? Open in the middle, Barreto looming almost to Vidal. Flashes over Chiellini.
Good play.
Mikuli, leading scorer with 5. Driving to the inside, trying to find Ilicic, but can't. Pirlo hooked, and he'll get the call. Quick restart. Less than 7 to go in the first. Vucinic, the touch around Donati, shoulder to shoulder.
It's got to be a foul.
Ref says play on.
Touches the ball past the defender, and then he gets a human roadblock thrown into him, in my opinion. But referee well up with the play, saw nothing wrong.
Pisano. Back for Munoz. And all the way to Uskani. 1-0 against Shakhtar on the road for Juve. Took a lot out of them. They needed it. With Torres and Chelsea waking up, but too late. Laid through for Lichtsteiner. Donati waiting to hear what Uskani wanted. And then puts it out for the throw. They'll get a chance to test their depth a bit. Coppa Italia play Before we get back in Serie A, shot from Chiellini wide. Cagliari up.
Always going to unload here. Here's that bundling off the ball.
Hard to believe. There, the handball on Lichtsteiner. DeMarco, one of the best referees, but he's been busy today. 5 minutes remain. Half number one. Mentioned Cagliari in the Copa. They also have them in Serie A in a couple of rounds as we get close to the holiday season. Mikuli poking it free. Now a chance to get on the receiving end. Shaking and baking, leaving Chiellini in his wake. Barreto. Donati stepping forward as the center half. Kind of interesting is Donati doing that job for Palermo, but the left-sided defender Chiellini who does it for Juve. There's Bonucci. Game getting stretched a bit. Both teams looking to try and put something on the board before the half. Marchisio for Matri. Good game for Matri today, but nothing to show for it yet. Asamoah, the man from Accra, never got his finger on the trigger. Mikuli again, 1 against 3. He doesn't care.
I'm sure he does. Nothing in support. Every time he has received it, he's always a dangerous point man inside of the box. But when he's receiving the ball that deep, he's got to have better support, else they're going to be going into cul-de-sacs all day long. Good ball.
And that is one of the concerns with Ilicic, not quite that aggressive player that sometimes Mikuli needs next to him. 33 years of age, an ex-Juve player, not once but twice. And then again, Gasparini, a former Juve player himself from his youth ranks. Actually started his managerial career with Bianconeri's youth team as well. Pirlo wide. Sees the run of Lichtsteiner, tries to drive it in, deflected. Kurtic making the run. Mikuli spots it. But Kurtic slowed down for some reason. Wouldn't have caught it anyway. 3-5-7 for Palermo, but just one defeat at home. 11-2-2 for Juve, just one defeat on the road. That was Milan, their last trip.
And that was Inter Milan's best game of the season by anybody's stretch of the imagination. Inter were absolutely wonderful, and Juve caught them at their operatic high note. But other than that, this team in black and white were being wonderful. Yeah, having a tough time down there today. This is going to be one of those that has got to be truly earned, and one of those games that you look back on as a player and think, you know what, that's the game where we won the Scudetto. That one there in the rain and against a tough team led by Mikuli. Yeah, fighting tooth and nail here, but no way through past Palermo so far. Look out.
Another chance, threaded through. Matri tries to lift it, but into the chest of Ushkani.
Ushkani, absolutely brilliant. Vidal is magnificent with his supply into Matri, but look at this goalkeeper, Samir Ushkani. This is a beautiful ball laid on a goal knot, and it is attacked. The goalkeeper comes out and attacks the pass because he knows it's going to get the target hit. Unbelievable. That's not a miss by Matri. That is an imperious save by the Albanian international, Ushkani.
Here's Pirlo dancing outside the 18. Uses his right. Almost finds Matri.
What a save. What a save. What a ball from Vidal. He couldn't have done anything better. It's inch perfect. And Matri does everything right. He spanks it, he steps through it, but the distance that the goalkeeper gets on top of it just suffocates the hit. Amazing save. You may not think it's an acrobatic save, people, but that is one of the saves of the season, believe me. Ushkani recognising the danger ahead and leaving his lane and attacking the danger point where he knows it's going to be, and he reads it beautifully. Save of the season for me, right there.
If Palermo stays up, you might be right. Chiellini in. And right, it's one of those situations with Matri, fair or unfair. You'll get criticized for not converting on that. Chance for Vucinic finding...
Well, of course you will, from people like you. You'll always find a criticism for missed chances, and that's why God makes so many bad finishers. I'm telling you, that isn't a bad attempt, Phil. It's an incredible save when we see it again, my friend.
Vidal
I mean, this goalkeeper is a youth product of Palermo, so he's been around a long time. He was sent away to Navarra for 3 years on loan, and then he comes back to his home club, his team, and produces saves like the one we saw before to deny Juve. Here's the pass, and look at the goalkeeper spreading himself beautifully and attacking the reference point. That's incredible. He spreads himself, it hits him on the face off of his hand. His hand gets thrown down first, and then it barrels up and hits him. But that is a type of save that inspires a club, inspires a team, and it should.
Vidal from start to finish stealing the ball away and then threading the needle. Now a chance outside, and Pirlo doesn't shoot much, but this is right in his wheelhouse. Marchisio also a danger around.
Difficult dynamic here for Pirlo.
Pirlo with a six-man wall, and it glances off the face of Garcia and wide for the corner.
Totally different game than one that we enjoyed yesterday, Roma and Fiorentina.
Just as
where
good.
It was like a Olympic relay race. This is all in wrestling, and absolutely wonderful, thrilling football.
From the flag. 4 men lurking around the 6, looking for Bonucci. Almost finds Matri, chips it back in. Slight deflection wide. They'll try it again. Better hurry. Checking his watches, DeMarco. Again, Pirlo ready. Looking for Matri. Donati cuts him off with the pass, and that's going to send us to break. No score at the half, but not for a lack of trying.
Thrills and spills and everything but buckets of blood down there here today.